All right, so today we're going to speak about essentially this element of Romeo and Juliet, which is the famous balcony scene. And when we're speaking about this, I want us to keep in mind what we've learned about Romeo as a character so far, how he perhaps uses women as substitutes for each other. So much like he has become obsessed with Juliet at their very first meeting, he was much obsessed as well with Rosaline. And so I would like us to think about, is this love? Is this lust? How is language being used to communicate? And what are the values that we're assessing here in this economy of sexuality, of language, of individual versus society, of politics, and of generational gaps. So first we'll start by reading the excerpt. I'll be reading it in contemporary English. And then after that, we'll go through the slides. So Act 2, Scene 2. Romeo begins. It's easy for someone to joke about scars if they've never been cut. Juliet enters the balcony. But wait, what's that light in the window over there? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Rise up, beautiful sun, and kill the jealous moon. The moon is already sick and pale with grief because you, Juliet, her maid, are more beautiful than she. Don't be her maid because she is jealous. Virginity makes her look sick and green. Only fools hold on to their virginity. Let it go. Oh, where is my lady? Oh, it is my love. Oh, I wish she knew how much I loved her. She's talking, but she's not saying anything. So what? Her eyes are saying something. I will answer them. I am too bold. She's not talking to me. Two of the brightest stars in the whole sky had to go away on business, and they're asking her eyes to twinkle in their places until they return. What if her eyes were in the sky and the stars were in her head? The brightness of her cheeks would outshine the stars the way the sun outshines a lamp. If her eyes were in the night sky, they would shine so brightly through space that birds would start sinking, thinking it was the light of day. Look how she leans her hand on her cheek. Oh, I wish I was the glove on that hand so I could touch that cheek. Oh my. She speaks. Oh, speak again. You're as glorious as an angel tonight. You shine above me like a winged messenger from heaven, who makes mortal men fall on their backs to look up at the sky, watching an angel walking on the clouds and sailing on the air. Juliet, not knowing that Romeo hears her. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, why do you have to be Romeo? Forget about your father, change your name, or else, if you won't change your name, just swear you love me and I'll stop being Capulet. Should I listen more? Romeo says, or should I speak now? Juliet, who still does not know that Romeo hears her. It's only your name, that's my enemy. You'd still be yourself even if you stopped being a Montague. What's a Montague anyways? It isn't a hand, a foot, an arm, a face, or any other part of a man. Oh, be some other name. What does a name mean? The thing we call a rose would smell just as sweet if we called it by another name. Romeo would be just as perfect if he wasn't called Romeo. So Romeo, lose your name. Trade in your name, which really has nothing to do with you, and take all of me in exchange. Romeo says, I trust your words. Just call me your love, and I will take a new name. From now on, I will never be Romeo again. Juliet, who are you? Why do you hide in the darkness and listen to my private thoughts? Romeo, I don't know how to tell you. I'm telling you by name. I hate my name, dear saint, because your name is your enemy. If I had written it down, I would tear up the paper. I hadn't heard you say 100 words yet, but I recognize the sound of your voice. Aren't you Romeo, and aren't you a Montague? I am neither of those things if you dislike them. Tell me, how did you get in here, and why did you come? The orchard walls are high, and it's hard to climb over them. If any of my relatives find you here, they'll kill you because of who you are. I flew over these walls with the light wings of love. Stone walls can keep out love. Whatever a man it can do, or possibly do, his love will make him try to do it. Therefore, your relatives are no obstacle. If they see you, they'll murder you. Alas, one angry look from you would be worse than 20 of your relatives with swords. Just look at me kindly, and I'm invincible against their hatred. Oh, I'd give anything to keep them from seeing you here. The darkness will hide me from them, and if you don't love me, let them find me here. I'd rather be killed than to have to live without your love. Who told you how to get here below my bedroom? Love showed me the way, the same way that it made me look for you in the first place. Love told me what to do, and yet I let my love borrow my eyes. I'm not a sailor, but if you were across the furthest sea, I would risk everything to gain you. You can't see my face because it's dark out. Otherwise, you'd see me blushing about the things you've heard me say tonight. I would be happy to keep up good manners and deny the things I've said, but forget about good manners. Do you love me? I know you'll say yes, and I believe you. But if you swear you love me, you might turn out to be lying. They say Jove laughs when lovers lie to each other. Oh, Romeo, if you really love me, say it truly. Or if you think it's too easy and quick to win my heart, I'll frown and play hard to get, as long as that will make you try to win me. But otherwise, I wouldn't act in a way for anything. In truth, handsome Montague, I like you too much, so much that you might think my behavior is loose. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove myself. More faithful than girls who act or play are hard to get. I should be more standoffish. I confess, but you overheard me talking about the love in my heart when I didn't know you were there. So excuse me, and do not assume that just because you made me so that love isn't serious. Lady, I swear by the sacred moon above the moon that paints the tops of the fruit trees with silver. Don't swear by the moon. The moon is always changing. Every month its position in the sky shifts. I don't want you to turn out to be that inconsistent too. What should I swear by? Don't swear at all, but if you have to swear, swear by your wonderful self, which is the God I worship like an idol, and then I'll believe you. If my heart's dear love, well, don't swear. Although you bring me joy, I can't take this joy in exchange of promises tonight. It's just too crazy. We haven't done enough thinking. It's too sudden. It's too much like lightning, which flashes and then disappears before you can say it's lightning. My sweet, good night. Our love, which is right now like a flower bud in the summer air, may turn out to be a beautiful flower by the next time we meet. I hope you enjoy the same sweet peace and rest. I feel you in my heart. Oh, are you going to leave me so unsatisfied? What satisfaction could you possibly have tonight? I would be satisfied if we made each other true promises of love. I pledged my love to you before you asked me to, yet I wish I could take that promise back, so I had it to give again. If you would take it back, why would you do that, my love? Only to be generous to give it to you once more, but I'm wishing for something I already have. My generosity to you is as limitless as the sea, and my love is as deep. The more I give you, the more I have. Both loves are infinite. The nurse calls from off stage. I hear a noise. Dear love, goodbye. Just a minute, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay here for a moment. I'll come back. Juliet exits. Oh, blessed, blessed night. Because it's dark out, I'm afraid that all of this is a dream too sweet to be real. Juliet enters her balcony. 3 words, dear Romeo, and then it's good night for real. If your intentions as a lover are truly honorable and you want to marry me, send me word tomorrow. I'll send a messenger to you, and you can pass on that message telling me when and where we'll be married. I'll lay all my fortunes at your feet, and I'll follow you, my lord, all over the world. Madame, I'll be right there. But if you don't have honorable intentions, I beg, Madame. All right, I'm coming. I beg you to stop trying for me and leave me to my sadness. Tomorrow I'll send the messenger. My soul depends on it. 1,000 times good night. Leaving you is 1,000 times worse than being near you. A lover goes toward his beloved as enthusiastically as a schoolboy leaving his books. But when he leaves his girlfriend, he feels as miserable as a schoolboy on his way to school. Romeo starts to leave. Juliet returns on her balcony. Hist! Romeo, hist! I wish I could make a falconer's call so I could bring my little falcon back again. I'm trapped in my family's house, so I must be quiet. Otherwise, I would rip open the cave where Echo sleeps. I would make her repeat his name until her voice grew more hoarse than mine, repeating, My Romeo. Romeo. My soul is calling out thy name. The sound of the lovers calling each other's names through the night is silver sweet. It's the sweetest sound a lover ever hears. Romeo. My baby hawk, what time tomorrow should I send a messenger to you? By 9 o'clock. I won't fail. From now until then, it seems like 20 years. I have forgotten why I called you back. Let me stand here until you remember your reason. I'll forget it, and you'll have to stand there forever. I only remember how much I love your company. I'll keep standing here, even if you do keep forgetting. I'll keep forgetting I have any home besides this spot right here. It's almost morning. I want to make you go, but I'd only let you go as far as spoiled child lets his pet bird go. He lets the pet bird hop a little from his hand and then yanks him back by his string. I wish I was your bird. My sweet, so do I. But I would kill you by petting you too much. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, and I'll say good night until tonight becomes tomorrow. I hope you sleep peacefully. I wish I were asleep in peace, so I could spend the night with you. Now I'll go see my priest to ask for his help and tell him about my good luck.
Alexis, ¿tenías una pregunta?
So that was Act 2, Scene 2. And now we'll go to our lesson for today. So this is the balcony scene, and I want us to consider how Romeo and Juliet are being presented to us, the readers, or to us, the audience members. And to think about, like, Juliet's 13, but at the age where she's at, she could legally get married with her father's consent or on her father's request. Romeo is 15, 16, and remember that he's very passionate, uses a lot of poetic language, a lot of hyperbole or exaggerated language, and a lot of metaphor where he compares things. And this scene in particular, we'll see that he compares Juliet to the moon, her eyes to stars. He makes comments upon her virginity. He wishes that he could fit her like a glove. So there's a lot going on in terms of his language and how dramatic he is as a character. But anyways, how would you feel if you were Romeo or Juliet at this point in the play? I encourage you to think not just if if you identify as a young woman to identify with Juliet, but think about both characters. How would you feel if you've ever been in a situation where you really loved someone and they totally ghosted you, right? So that's what happened to Romeo. And then you become infatuated with someone else, obsessed with someone else. That's happened to you. Think about Juliet and how she must relate to different people in this storyline. And particularly in this scene, I want you to keep that in mind. So Romeo goes to Juliet's balcony after they meet at the party and they press each other's hands and they say all these romantic sweetnesses to each other. And I want you to consider, what impression do you have of Romeo in this scene? Like, if you were Juliet, what would you be thinking? And two, what impression do you have of Juliet in this scene, either as an outsider or through the eyes of Romeo? And I want you to support your perspective with quotes from the text. So there are different monologues in this scene, and I'm going to give y'all scenes that you have to practice, and you'll have to turn on your cameras and perform them in your group. And I'm going to break you out into groups so that we can work on this. In class, after you've worked on this in your groups, you're going to have some questions that you need to answer. So you'll answer questions specifically on the content, and I'll show you where that is in your lesson. So you will answer these questions in this after you've performed and annotated the text. You'll have 20 minutes to gain a secure understanding of your lesson. And then you will be asked to answer these questions for your peers. So I am not going to do it. It's your job to do it. And then toward the end, you're going to create a circa with your group. And you'll put this into your Canvas assignment. At the end, I want you to think, you're going to basically teach each other and listen carefully to this information. But it's something, one of those things that you kind of have to be here on the day to practice this. But this is the layout. And if you get stuck, let's reference back the reading from today.